Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
Good evening and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of hashtag What Woke Looks Like. I am your host, Yolanda Yo, the Spiritualist Hops, and tonight I have a rather unique segment planned. You're going to be listening to me. I'm going to be hosting and I'm going to be doing all of the talking as well. So I hope that everyone is prepared for this little shift. I decided that in lieu of some of the things that we have going on right now in the cosmos, I thought it might be a good idea to share some of that or bring some of that to this particular platform, whereas I think it's news that everybody can use right now. So tonight's episode is what I'm calling a cosmic weather report. There is a lot going on in the cosmos right now. For those who may or may not be aware, I am considered a spiritualist, but that is because I study astrology and I also read birth charts, and I ascribe heavily to astrology, among other things. And because of the research I've been doing lately, my findings, and just some of the things that are going on with us as a society and as a whole, I really think or thought it was a good idea that I come in and just bring some of that to this particular platform. So for those of you who may or may not be very familiar with astrology, it's definitely an opportunity to learn some things. I am an educator, and I believe in educating people on things that they may or may not be aware of. So with that being said, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. Again, this is a cosmic weather report. These are the astrological transits that are shaping everybody's reality right now. So if you feel like time is shifting fast, it's because it is. If you feel that way spiritually, emotionally, even politically, there's a lot going on in politics right now. Yes, you're not imagining things. This is all divine orchestration, so to speak. The sky right now is loaded with major transits that astrologers only see really once in a lifetime, once in decades sometimes. But these planetary shifts are changing the collective timeline, if you will. And if you understand them, you can better work with the energy, and that's going to be much more beneficial as opposed to you being overwhelmed by it. So I want to talk first and foremost about Saturn. Saturn is one of the planets in our solar system. You know, we all learned about Saturn when we were taking science back in grade school. But what we may not have learned is how Saturn has the tendency to affect our lives. Saturn is the planet of responsibility. And right now, Saturn is in the sign of Aries, Aries being the first sign in the zodiac. Yeah, that's right. It's not Capricorn. A lot of people think it is because we know that Capricorn ends the year and it begins the year. It's actually Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And so right now, Saturn is sitting in the zodiac sign of Aries. Saturn entered Aries last month and will remain there until 2028. So we've got 2 years of this transit ahead of us. And this is launching a new cycle of discipline, of leadership, and of accountability. Saturn represents, as you know, or as I mentioned a few moments ago, it represents responsibility, but it represents more than that. It represents things like karma. long-term structures, time, okay? And Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, represents identity and courage and independence. It also represents leadership. When Saturn enters the zodiac sign of Aries, humanity is being forced to grow up and take action. And that's what we're seeing right now. Here are some major themes that may come out of this transit, things like leadership tests. You may find that your leadership abilities are being tested at this time. Your individual sovereignty may be tested at this time. The courage for you to stand alone is being tested. And building things from scratch is also at the forefront of many of our minds. This is the stop waiting for permission transit. Stop waiting for permission to do and to be, to go and to experience. This is a time when people start businesses, take bold leadership, and take control of their lives. Those are the types of people who can thrive under this kind of energy. People who avoid responsibility may actually find themselves feeling the pressure or confrontation coming from this transit. Now, I want to talk about yet another transit. This transit is Neptune in Aries. That's right, the planet of Neptune is also in the sign of Aries. And it's going to stay there until 2039. Now, this is a long transit. As I told you, Saturn is there, and Saturn will be there for 2 years. Neptune will be there for about 13 more years. That's a long time. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Neptune for those who may or may not know. Neptune represents or rules things like spirituality, creativity, dreams, illusions. Even the collective consciousness is affected by the planet Neptune. And again, just as a reminder, Aries rules things like identity, action, even war, or warriors, if you will. The meaning of this transit, you might ask, this is an era of spiritual warriors. This battle that we are experiencing right now, even with the war that's going on in Iran, it's spiritual. It's more physical than it's more physical. You'd think it would be more physical, at least, because it looks physical to the naked eye. But this is actually a spiritual war. So you can expect things like new spiritual movements that are going to come out of this transit. There are going to be younger spiritual leaders. There are going to be people rejecting old belief systems, as well as identity revolutions. I think it was Gil Scott-Heron who said the revolution wouldn't be televised. I think Gil knew exactly what he was talking about. Gil was more than just a poet or a spoken word artist. He was a prophet. So you can say that Neptune in Aries is the birth of the spiritual warrior generation. What a time to be alive, folks. What a time to be alive. I also want to talk about the fact that Pluto, the planet of transformation, is in the sign of Aquarius. And it's been there since 2023, but it's going to stay there until 2044. Now, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, folks, the Declaration of Independence was being written. You know how long ago that's been? That's been doggone near 250 years ago. These are once in a lifetime transits. So the next time Pluto goes into Aquarius, you and I will no longer be here. Pluto represents things like power, again, transformation, destruction, but rebirth as well. Aquarius represents technology, collective power, rebellion, innovation. What does all of that mean? Well, it means that this is the AI, technology, and social revolution era. Major themes that would come out of a Pluto and Aquarius transit are decentralized power. When we're decentralizing power, things happen like a Declaration of Independence being written. I would not at all be surprised if between now and 2044, if the whole face of our government takes a shift. I would not be at all surprised. These transits are the ones that affect community movements. AI and technology has a way of reshaping society at times like this. And it's also the fall of outdated power structures. Again, think about the things we're going through in our country right now. We seem to be moving towards a dictatorship, but I wouldn't throw in the towel so soon because life has a funny way, or the cosmos has a funny way of taking control. This is God's work, y'all. It has nothing to do with us. Pluto in Aquarius is dismantling old hierarchies and it's redistributing the power to the people, which is what I feel as if our founding fathers were hinting at. But they missed the mark just a little bit because remember the Declaration of Independence saying of the people, by the people, for the people. Well, we know as people of color that that never happened. Yes. We know that this is a time when it should have happened, but it hasn't as of yet. So maybe the chickens are coming home to roost and we're all going to finally get exactly what we deserve. Now, I want to talk about another major transit that's going on right now. I want to talk about Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Now, everybody hears about these retrogrades, or as my friends and I like to joke around and say, Mercury is in micro braids, sipping on Gatorade, throwing micro shade, okay? But this is a collective spiritual detox, okay? Mercury retrograde runs from February of 2026, so it's already started, until March 20th. So we've only got a few more days of Mercury retrograde left. Now, I always like to warn people that it's not just about the transit. Sometimes this energy is more heavily felt before and after a transit. So for up to 2 weeks ahead or 2 weeks after a transit is when you may feel the energy the most. Mercury retrograde is known for things like communication confusion, delays, and introspection, which is why I always warn my clients, don't sign any contracts and don't have any major conversations or make any major decisions during a retrograde cycle. It may come back to haunt you later. It's best to sit with things and then later on decide whether or not you want to act on them. Now, what happens when a Mercury retrograde is in the sign of Pisces? Well, things like this: emotional reflection, spiritual downloads, revisiting old conversations happen. Dreams become very important. I would advise anybody under this energy, if you're dreaming about something, I would probably journal it. I would write it down. And if you don't have a dream journal, you should get you one. And at the very least, have your note section in your phone at a point where it can, hold your dreamscapes, because the dreams that come up now are going to come back again later. You're going to want to be able to retrieve the information. So clear out that note section in your phone if you're a person who doesn't like to write things down by hand. Now, this is not just confusion. This is spiritual recalibration, if you will. Here are some of the questions you should be asking yourself during a time like this. What truth have I been avoiding? What conversations in my life need closure? What intuitive messages keep repeating themselves time and time and time again? What kind of things keep coming back up? Think about these things. Maybe do some journaling about it. Again, if you don't have a notebook, then put it in your phone so that you can reflect on it periodically. Here's the fifth transit I want to talk about. It's eclipse season, y'all. This is a timeline reset for everybody. We just experienced a Virgo lunar eclipse on March the 3rd. What do eclipses represent? Well, if you don't already know, I'm here to tell you. Things like sudden endings, fated events, destiny pivots happen during an eclipse. I have had more phone calls and conversations with people in my tribe talking about how they lost jobs. And my question to them has always been, well, how do you feel about that? Are you relieved or are you sad? And almost always everybody says to me, honey, I'm so glad that job has ended. I wanted to quit, but I was afraid. So just embrace what's happening in your life right now, because these are fated events. Again, this is God's work, and there's not a lot you can do about it other than go with the flow. Virgo eclipses ask people to release things like perfectionism and burnout, overworking, control issues. All of these things need to be released. Eclipses don't ask, they force you into alignment. So if you lost that job, if that relationship ended, it needed to. It was out of alignment in the beginning. If just all of a sudden get an eviction notice, maybe that's somewhere you didn't need to live in the beginning. Maybe it's time to make a change. But how many of us know that sometimes our hands have to be forced for us to do the things that are best for us? Because spirit has a way of waiting for you to, decide that you're going to listen. But sometimes we could be a little stubborn. We get stuck in our comfort zone and we decide, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do this. I think I'm just going to move forward with things just as they are. Yes. Oh, I've got some comments coming in. Let me check them quickly. Good evening to Empress Queen 229. Welcome in. I'm so glad to have you with me tonight. The Higher Learning TV show is here. What a time to be alive is on point. If our purpose has been fulfilled, then we move on. That is until AI. Excellent, excellent point. I could not have said it better myself. Thank you for coming in and sharing with us this evening. Now, I want to talk about another transit. I'm not done. I told y'all there's a lot going on right now. And if I'm trying to make sure that you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's how my mother taught me. And that's the message I'm going to pass on to you. Mama said, you better have a plan A, a plan B. If you're smart, you'll have a plan C. And if you're really smart, you'll have a plan D. But guess what? If you're uninformed, you can't have a plan at all. Okay? Clock it. Now, 6th transit. Jupiter is turning direct. Well, it's already done it. It did it last week, actually. It turned direct in the sign of Cancer. And it's bringing forward movement after months and months of slowdowns. Jupiter rules things like abundance and expansion, growth, wisdom, blessings, opportunities. Yes? And Cancer rules the home, mothers. It rules generational patterns or curses or blessings, whichever category you'd like for that to fall under. It rules things like inheritances as well. When Jupiter turns direct in a sign like Cancer, stalled opportunities begin moving forward. New growth cycles begin. You may notice that your family grows during this time. You may notice that opportunities are going to be afforded to your family during this time. Knowledge is going to become more actionable as well. This is a moment where the universe is asking, are you ready for the expansion you prayed for? Are you ready for the expansion that you prayed for? Now, I want to add in for a second here. Again, I want to do a quick recap before I move any further. This cosmic weather report is about major astrological transits that are happening right now. The sky is shifting. The timeline is changing. What everyone needs to know about astrology shaping our world is imperative, and that's why I'm here to talk about it tonight. Again, I covered Saturn being in Aries, Jupiter being in Cancer. I talked about Neptune being in Aries and what that means. Mercury retrograde in Pisces. I've talked about a lot of things tonight. I've talked about it being eclipse season. There's a lot for us to take into consideration at this time. And I want for people to be as ready as they possibly can. Being informed is the key to moving forward. You don't want to be stagnant during a time like this. Why? It's because of the fact that we're living through one of the most powerful astrological transits of our lifetime. When major outer planets are changing signs, eclipse cycles are resetting timelines, and the sky is literally rewriting the rules of our reality. Y'all, this is no small feat that we're facing at this time. This is no laughing matter. This stuff is serious, and it has the potential to completely shift your reality. Astrology has always been the cosmic clock of humanity. It shows us when empires rise, when systems collapse, and when new leaders and new ideas and new movements are being born. Right now, the planets are literally pushing humanity, oh my God, into a new chapter, one that demands us to be courageous, authentic, and very spiritually aware. If you are not spiritually in tuned at a time like this, you're going to find yourself in major, major trouble. This is a time where you really want to be in tune with God, with your spirit team, with your angels, if you're so inclined, with your ancestors, whatever is working for you. Because you got to ask yourself, who are you becoming in this new era? The old ways of living and thinking and leading are slowly but surely dissolving before our very eyes. And the people who understand this weather, the ones who know how to work with it, those are going to be the people who shape the future. It's not going to be the people who are stuck in outdated mentality. This is a time for us to really, really, really think about where we're headed. So that's why I'm here to break these transits down, because I want for us to be ready. Now, I want to move on just a little bit because I want to talk a little bit more about what you can do to prepare yourself for these times. It's a shift. You're not imagining it, as I said before. How are you going to work with these things? That's the question for us to be asking ourselves at this time. What can I do to make a difference in my life? How can I work with this energy? How can I make sure that those who I love work with this energy? Well, the best thing you could ever think of doing is to shift your mindset. The old you is gone. One of the things that we realized early on with Saturn and Neptune both being in Aries was that we were all collectively undergoing a rebirth. It is like literally being in the womb all over again and coming out a completely new person. We are in infancy phases. Now, I want to talk a little bit about something else. I want to talk about specific signs and how they may work with this energy. Now, this is primarily going to be based on rising signs. I know a lot of people may not know what their rising sign is, but let me tell you what that is. That is the sign that was in the eastern horizon when you were born. Now, everybody, just about everybody, knows what their sun sign is. You know that, for example, myself being born on December 31st, I know I'm a Capricorn. The sun was in Capricorn when I was born. But in the eastern horizon, the sign that was rising was Virgo. So I am a Virgo rising. For those who may or may not know, let me tell you, you also have a moon sign. Actually, you have signs, zodiac signs, that are in every planet in the cosmos. You have a Mercury sign, you have a Saturn sign, a Uranus sign, you have a Pluto sign. You have all of these signs. So when you were born, the sign most of us are familiar with is our sun sign. So what I want to do now is I want to break down how this cosmic weather may show up in your life based on your sign. Primarily your rising, but it could be applied to your sun sign as well. I want to also add that everyone has a moon sign. Your moon sign is the sign that the moon was in when you were born, because the sun and the moon are normally in two different signs. It is rare for them to be in the same sign. However, that is because the sun only changes signs every 30 days or so. The moon changes signs every 2 to 2.5 days, which is why if you're born under a certain moon, you may be more sensitive to those changes in cycles. I'm personally born under a Cancer moon. So there you have it. I am a Capricorn sun, a Cancer moon, and a Virgo rising. All of these things shape and mold me into who I am today. It's not just me being a Capricorn. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about that, because where these energies activate in your personal timeline are going to heavily, heavily affect you. I'm going to start with Aries placements, primarily risings, but you could apply this if you're an Aries sun as well. Aries people, you are being pushed into leadership and visibility. You can no longer hide behind the scenes, okay? This is a period for you to step up and to define your identity. Who are you really? Who are you called to be? How will you help to usher us into this new phase of our lives? Because moving forward, nothing will ever be the same. As I stated earlier, there's going to come a time where you'll no longer even be able to recognize the face of our society. I want to talk to my Taurus people. If you have a major Taurus placement, if you are a Taurus sun or rising, you're about to undergo a major spiritual awakening and subconscious healing. Pay attention, pay close attention, Taurus people, to your dreams and your intuition at this time, because neither will lie to you. You will be getting divinely guided messages and you will want to pay attention to them. Again, that's where journaling really comes into play. It's super important. All right, next, I want to talk to my Gemini people, and I'm going in the order of the zodiac wheel. If you are a Gemini sun or rising, your message is this: your community and network are expanding. By expanding, I mean your community and your network are growing at this time. New collaborations and friendships are going to be bringing you a lot of opportunity. And this opportunity could be work related, career related. It could also be more social in nature. But either way it goes, you're going to be experiencing a lot of opportunities at this time. Next, Cancer people, my Cancer suns, my Cancer risings. Cancer, this is a powerful, powerful rebirth cycle for you. Your identity, your confidence, and your direction are vastly evolving. Nothing is going to be the same anymore. If you are a Leo, sun, or rising sign, what's happening with you right now is that you're closing an old chapter and you're preparing for a new destiny cycle. Everything's shifting for you. These old cycles are closing out. They're tired, they're outdated, they gotta go. Here's what's important for Leo people at this time. You need to be resting and you need to be reflecting spiritually. That's very, very important for you right now, for you to be able to step into this new chapter. A lot of rest is required. No less than 7 hours of sleep. And if you can't afford it, try to get 9. Next, I want to talk to my Virgo people. If you are a Virgo sun or a Virgo rising, this is for you. Virgos, your future vision and goals are shifting. There are a lot of goals that you had last year, the year before that, and maybe even 10 years ago that no longer resonate with who you are at this time. You will find yourself abandoning some of those old goals. And guess what? That's okay, my Virgo people, because I know y'all believe in being perfect, but being perfect does not equate to you holding on to something that's already dead. New communities are going to appear for you as well as alliances. You're going to be garnering some new allies at this time in your life. They're going to be appearing every time you turn around. So Virgos, don't overanalyze it. Don't overthink it. Don't wonder, what am I going to do with that old goal? It's okay. Change is good. You will not regret it. We're about midway through our segment at this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take just a quick break before I come back. And when I come back, I'm going to start with Libra and I'm going to go throughout the rest of the zodiac. And I'm going to be telling you about how this energy is going to affect you. So stay tuned. First, we're going to have a word from Media Connections, advertising, and then we will go back and finish talking about how these transits are affecting those other 6 zodiac signs. I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
And I'm back. I think I have another comment coming in from Empress Queen 229 as a Libra sun. So she is ready to receive the information for Libra. So as I stated before, what I'm talking about right now is how the cosmic weather may show up in your life based on your sun or your rising sign. Because the rising sign tells us where these energies activate in your personal timeline. However, they can sometimes spill over into our sun energies as well. If you're curious about how to find your rising sign, all you have to do is simply look at your birth chart if you have it already pulled up. But if you don't have it, all you have to have is your date of birth, your place of birth, city and state, as well as the time you're born. Now, that is a crucial piece. Without your birth time, you cannot know your accurate rising sign. Okay, so that's a piece you have to know in order for you to be able to get your rising sign. The rising sign is also known as your ascendant. So that's how it may be coded when you look at a birth chart. You can go to apps like AstroSeek or Cafe Astrology to pull up your birth chart. And if you're ever curious about what your whole birth chart means and you would like a breakdown from a professional, you can always contact me. I do birth chart readings. You can go to my Instagram page, Yo the Spiritual One on Instagram. You can click on my link tree and you can schedule a birth chart reading. All right, moving forward in talking about my Libra suns and Libra risings. Libra, Empress 229, Empress Queen 229, I'm coming right down your alley. You've got major career developments unfolding right now. Your public reputation and your leadership are evolving at this time. I'm going to repeat that. You've got major career developments that are unfolding at this time. Your public reputation and your leadership are evolving. So if you've been thinking about maybe a career change, a career shift, a relocation for career purposes, this is a good time for my Libra people to really be thinking about that, okay? Because, you know, the cosmos is really going to favor you as you choose to make these changes in your life. So don't hesitate, make the changes you need to make so that you can be more fulfilled in your career. Now I'd like to talk to the Scorpios, Scorpio sun, Scorpio rising. You're expanding your beliefs in education and worldview at this time. How much fun is that? Travel, teaching, or spiritual study may appear to you. Empress Queen 229 says, awesome for Libra, right? And looking forward to career developments. Yes. Oh, they're headed your way. Definitely take advantage of the energy that's available to you right now. Don't hesitate. Again, my Scorpios, travel, teaching, or spiritual study may appear more attractive to you at this time, so lean into it. All right, now, Sagittarius, sun or rising. There's some deep-rooted financial and spiritual transformation happening for you. Shared resources and partnerships may evolve at this time. So don't be afraid to go back and look at investments. Look at where your money is going. How are you spending it? Are you happy with what your bank account looks like at this time? Because if not, it might be a good time for you to do some revamping. And then look at how you share your resources and how your partnerships are benefiting you. And if they're not, it's highly possible that some new ones may form during this time that will better support your financial goals. Next, Capricorn, sun or rising. What's happening with my Capricorn people right now, my Capricorn family, your relationships are undergoing a huge transformation. New partnerships and major relationship lessons may appear. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. And those partnerships or relationships don't have to be romantic in nature. They could be family related, or they could be related to more professional pursuits. So just be aware of the fact that there's going to be a shift in those areas. Next, my Aquarius family, Aquarius, sun or rising. Your daily health, routines, and work life are undergoing a major shift right now. It's time for you to build some stronger habits. If you haven't been diligent about your workout routine, about going to see your doctor, or with how you're navigating your work life, this is really a good time to rethink some of that and to get more serious about how you do those things. It's imperative that you at least go and get your annual checkups. And it's also wise for you to look at your diet to see whether or not it is supporting your goals or where you're headed. This is a good time to do a revamp. Maybe it's a good time to get back in the gym. Why not? Pisces, sun, Pisces rising. This is for you. Your creative energy and romantic opportunities are significantly increasing. Okay. Empress Queen 229, I just came down your alley as an Aquarius rising, then this is for you. Okay. Now, this is a powerful time for your artistic expression. Now, am I saying that you have to go somewhere and paint something? No, that is not what I am saying, Aquarius. But what I am saying to you is that this might be a good time for you to consider how you're expressing yourself creatively. You may want to actually tap into that more creative side of yourself. It's not just about art as it relates to visual arts, but it is also your ability to create things. Some of you may be into fashion design. Some of you may be creating meals. I don't know, maybe you're a chef and you want to get more creative with how you prepare your meals or the offerings that you have for your clientele. This is a great time to look at those things, okay? So here's what's happening as I'm coming to a close here this evening with this cosmic weather forecast. I just want you guys to understand something important. We're standing at a threshold moment in time. Again, this is something we've never seen before and that we'll never see again. This is not the usual transits. These aren't the usual suspects. We are crossing the threshold right now. Now, I want to also mention the fact that we are about to be at the spring equinox that is coming in very soon. We also have a new moon in Pisces coming in, and I believe that's going to be between tomorrow and Thursday. So let's talk about that first. March 18th. That's right. That's tomorrow. Sometimes I get my days mixed up. Tomorrow at 9:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we experience a new moon at 28 degrees of Pisces. Now, let me just talk a little bit about the 28th degree. In astrology, each planet goes through a cycle of degrees. The degrees start at 0 and go all the way up through 29. 28 and 29 are considered anaretic degrees. These are the finality degrees, okay? These are cycles that are closing out. So at the 28th degree, what's happening? Something's coming to an end, even though new moons normally signify new beginnings. But let me break it down for you, because Pisces is the final sign in the zodiac. This is not just any new moon. It is the closing of a cosmic chapter in your life. The last breath of the entire astrological year, because we know the spring equinox will come in 2 days later. And what do we know about spring equinox? It is the beginning of the actual year. A lot of people have said to me, well, I always thought the beginning of the year was January 1st. Ha, ha, ha. That is the beginning of the calendar year, but that is not the beginning of the astrological year. Let's talk about it, shall we? Pisces is the ocean of consciousness. When we think about Pisces, we think about those two fish, kind of swimming around in a circle, yes? It's the realm of dreams, of spirit, of intuition, and surrender. At 28 degrees, what is the universe saying to us? Well, I'll tell you what it's saying. It's asking us to let go of the illusions, okay? It is asking us to let go of the old emotional baggage, the things that have been dragging us down repeatedly in our lives. It is asking us to release the stories and the narratives that we outgrew a long time ago. It's a new day, folks. It's up to us what we decide to do with it. This is the moment where we can release what no longer belongs in our lives, because we're about to step into a new chapter. The old stuff can't go with us, because guess what it's going to do? It's not going to do anything but drag us down. So why not just release it? So let's go back. I want to talk a little bit now about the spring equinox coming in on March the 20th, which is what? Friday? That's a sacred moment when day and night stand in perfect balance. It's a beautiful time, y'all. Across ancient civilizations, the equinox has always been understood as a gateway for us. This is a point where the old season ends and a new cycle of life begins. That's why spring is such an important time. Think about, the flowers beginning to bloom, and you hear the birds chirping outside your window even more and more as time goes on. But before we cross that threshold again, the sky is going to give us one final opportunity to release the things of the past that no longer serve us. And that is where the new moon in Pisces comes in. Oh boy. God designed all of this for us so that, we would be able to navigate our lives with more ease, because the universe naturally supports these things happening. It is only when we decide to be resistant that we meet chaos in our lives. So just go with the flow. I want to tell you about something else that's coming up as well. On March the 22nd, 2 days after the spring equinox comes in. So that's going to be what? Sunday? Yes. Neptune, the planet of spirituality and imagination and divine inspiration, is going to form what we call a cazimi. And that is with the sun at 1 degree of Aries. Now, in astrology, I know you want to know, what is a cazimi? Well, I'm going to tell you. A cazimi is when a planet sits at the very heart of the sun. That's a cazimi. And this is where you can receive clarity and illumination, right? Because just think about it. It's all logical, y'all. Think about the sun. The sun sheds light on everything it touches, yes? So it's going to shed light on some things in your life. This is a rare moment, okay, when the spiritual vision of Neptune becomes ignited by the fire of Aries. Because the other thing that happens with the spring equinox on Friday is that Aries season begins. And remember what I said earlier, Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. And it is the sign of rebirth. So see how it's all divinely orchestrated? In other words, this is where dream meets the warrior energy that lives inside of all of us. This is the vision that is meeting the courage we need to act on the things that we want to happen in our lives. This is your soul's calling. And it becomes impossible for you to ignore. You might have been able to get around it for a while now, but you can't do it anymore. It's going to meet you head on. So as we move through this energy, this new moon, we move through the equinox, we go into Aries season, we leave Pisces season behind, and the Neptune cazimi. The sky is offering humanity a very, very powerful message at this time. And what is it? I tell you what it is. It's that the old chapters are closing and a new timeline is beginning. So the question is not whether the world is changing, y'all, because it's changing. It is changing before our very eyes, whether we want it to or not. There's nothing we can do to change that. but we can work with the energy to a point where it benefits us and our personal lives. But the real question being asked of you and I tonight is this. Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming as this new era begins in your life? Who are you becoming? Can you answer that question? Do you even know? Or are you too afraid to face it? So this is your cosmic weather report. Now I'm going to do, just like any good teacher would, I'm going to do a quick recap because I want to make sure that my people are well abreast of what is happening at this time. Okay? I'm going to do a quick recap for you folks. Okay? Here are your major transits. We got Saturn in Aries. The theme here is leadership and radical responsibility because Saturn is representing growth and abundance and opportunity. What does this mean? It means your leadership is being tested. You're building something from scratch, or if you want to build something from scratch, this is your time. What about those of you who want to start your own business? There is no better time than this. Between now and 2028, you could build whatever you want. This is a time for you to find your authority and your sovereignty. In addition to that, we have Jupiter that has gone direct in Cancer. Now, one of the things I did not tell you earlier that I want to share with you now is the fact that Jupiter direct in Cancer is going to be happening until June the 30th, at which time Jupiter will switch over into the sign of Leo. Everything happens in a progression. These planets move in progressions. So if you have a planet in Cancer, the next place it will go is Leo. And then the next place it will go is Virgo. So see, it moves in order. God designed it that way. What are the themes of Jupiter being direct in Cancer? Well, I'll tell you. And I say direct. Let me also say this. When we say a planet is moving direct, it's because it's been retrograde. And anytime we say a planet is retrograde, it's because it's been appearing to move backwards. Retrogrades are times when we get to review and reflect on our lives and the decisions that we've made. But when a planet moves direct, it is saying to us, okay, now it is time for you to move forward with whatever it is that you want to do. What are the themes of Jupiter being direct in Cancer? Well, you've got emotional expansion and you've got generational wealth. If you are not building wealth, if you are not focused on building legacy right now, I don't know what you're doing, because this is your time to do it right now. Between now and June the 30th, I'm going to tell you what I would do. A word to the wise. This is something I've told all of my clients. You need to be writing a legacy plan for your family. Write a legacy plan. Decide where you want to see your family go. Because this is the time when legends are born. This is the time where you can build something that will last for generations and generations to come. Thank you so much, Empress Queen 229 says, I love this explanation. Well, I'm so glad, honey, because I'm giving you the pure, unadulterated facts. Because this is where legends are born. This is the energy that legends are born under. What's your plan? Do you have one? And if you don't, how are you going to leave the generations coming behind you better than they were when you were here? I don't want anybody to struggle after I'm gone. I want to make sure that I leave something behind for my children and for my children's children. That's why I go as hard as I do, doing the things that I do, dispelling the generational patterns that did not work for my family. I'm finding a new way to stand because I want them to be better. Even after I'm gone, I want things to get increasingly better for my family. So with this sign, or rather this planet of Jupiter being in the sign of Cancer, Cancer represents home and family and roots and legacy. Jupiter represents abundance. It represents blessings. It represents opportunities. It represents growth. So what is this transit activating? It is activating family healing. Your family can be getting healed right now if you do the work. It's buying or improving your home. Maybe you want to do some home renovations. Folks, this is your time. Maybe you want to buy a house. My husband and I have been looking at homes, buying homes. We're putting a plan into action right now. I expect for us to be closing on a house or near closing by the time June 30th hits. I'm going to work with the energy because I know my spirit team supports it. This is a time for you to stand on generational wealth. And if you don't have a plan to build some, I suggest that you find you one, sugar. Okay. All right. Now let's see what else we got going on here. Just as my quick recap for those who weren't here at the beginning. Let's see. I think I have another comment. It's time to get the plan into action. Yes, yes, and yes. Hear me now. Neptune and Aries. This is about the rise of the spiritual warrior. We are in the fight of our lives spiritually, people. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Jupiter represents, or rather, that's a typo. Sorry about that. Neptune represents. See, I got my stuff mixed up, but I'll tell you what it represents. Ignore that. That's a typo. I'm human, right? Neptune represents illusions, dreams, creativity. So this is a time where you can work with that energy, okay? This is a time where you can move forward, okay? You may have those dreams that come into fruition at this time, okay? Now, let's look at Mercury retrograde in Pisces. This is a time of spiritual reflection because Mercury governs things like communication and thinking and information. Your dreams may be more vivid at this time. Okay, you may recall some things emotionally that you thought you had overcome, but you haven't quite dealt with them. You haven't quite healed. It may be time to consider seeing that therapist. And if you stop going, maybe you want to finish those sessions. And if that therapist wasn't working for you, it's no problem for you to pivot and find one that does. I've gone through 2 or 3 in my lifetime. There is no shame in that. You got to get somebody who's going to work with you and align, with your energy. This is also a time you may revisit some old conversations that need to be closed out in your life. Okay? So here's what I want you guys to remember. The planets don't control you, but they do reveal the timing of your evolution. When you understand the cosmic weather, you can move with destiny instead of against it. Okay? This is a time when you can make today the best day of your life moving forward. Today can be the first day of the rest of your life if you would like for it to be. It's totally your choice. And if you haven't already, again, I would suggest that anybody who has not looked at their birth chart, look at your birth chart. God was intentional. You know how the Bible tells us that we are all fearfully and wonderfully made, okay? And that God knows the very hairs on our head, knows exactly how many we have. That was not coincidence. This is all divinely orchestrated. So God thought enough of me. This is the way I looked at it when I started studying astrology. I said, oh, God thought enough of me to strategically hang each planet in a certain sign in the sky when I was born. So you mean to say that nobody else on this planet had the planets in the same sign where they were when I was born? So you mean all the stars and the quasars and the planets were strategically placed for me? Oh, wow. How interesting. How special am I? That's why I always say, destiny is a funny thing and you can't duplicate anybody else's, because if God took the time to do that for you, then guess what? Everything that's coming to you is uniquely yours. You can't be like anybody else and nobody else can be like you, because everything was uniquely designed for you. So work with that. Know who you are. And your birth chart tells the story of who you were when you were born. In my office right now, I have a picture of my birth chart hanging. And I get to look at it every day. And it reminds me of how divinely and uniquely I am created. And I just think that's a beautiful testament. Like, I know it deep down inside, but to actually see it, to actually see it on this huge blown up poster, it's like, doggone, I am special. So this has been your cosmic weather report on hashtag what woke looks like. And remember, when you understand the sky, you understand the timing of your own evolution. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. If anyone should have any questions or concerns, you can contact me. I am on all major social media platforms. You can find me on Facebook at Yo the Spiritualist. You can find me on TikTok at Yo the Spiritualist, or you can find me at What Woke Looks Like. I have 2 pages on TikTok. I'm also on X or Twitter, whichever you like to call it, at Yo the Spiritualist. And I'm on Instagram at What Woke Looks Like and at Yo the Spiritualist. So at any time you have any questions or concerns, or you just want to dig a little bit deeper into who you are, as it relates to the stars, I am happy to provide you with some assistance. All you have to do is reach out, or feel free to just schedule an appointment. I would love to work with you a little bit further. So again, this has been your astrological service announcement, or your cosmic weather report with Yo the Spiritualist. And I want to thank everybody for coming in. I will be back next week, where our special guest will be a social emotional learning coach that I had the privilege of meeting not very long ago. She's going to come in and talk to us a little bit about the social emotional learning work that she is doing with children in school. So I'm very excited about having that conversation with her. I will be advertising that later on the Female Solution, as well as on my page. And I hope everyone will come back to join me next week. I am going to go ahead and close out. Thank you again for coming in. And I hope that everyone has a very, very, very blessed evening. Good night.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
I did want to quickly double back just to share this last comment, and I apologize because I did not see it as I was playing the outro. Dr. Naima Latif, who is the head of the Female Solution, founder, that is, wanted to share that she loves the perspective that we are all uniquely designed with the planets and stars in a specific place in the sky. Yes, that is so very true. And I tell you, it was just such a blessing for me to even realize that. Because I think a lot of times we do struggle maybe sometimes with identity. And, I even went through imposter syndrome for a while in my life, just trying to find my place and figure out who I was, and realizing that I was so uniquely and, orchestrated and designed based on the cosmos was just the chef's kiss that I needed to propel me forward in my life. So thank you so much for sharing that viewpoint. And again, thank you all for coming in and sharing with us tonight. I will see you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Good night.